Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Still working on that Wisconsin video, but instead we're going to look at the newly buffed South Carolina, which may be an insult to the state of South Carolina because this was probably one of the very worst tier 3 battleships in the game in my opinion. We're in Greece domination match. We are down tier in the South Kakalaki. All right, let's run over the buffs. Ship hit points were increased from 29,000 to 35,000. The firing range for the main battery increased from 13.1 to 14.25 kilometers. Main battery reload time reduced by 2 seconds. The HE shell damage increased by 400 points from 4,100 to 4,500. Fire setting chance greatly increased from 20 to 28%. And the maximum AP shell damage went up 400 points from 8,100 to 8,500. The reload went down from 30 to 28. I said 2 seconds before, didn't delineate that. Also, they changed one of those BS ship traits in the screen there. That really has no effect on the performance of the ship. So reload a little bit faster, damaging greater for HE and AP shells. Huge jump in the fire chance. The main battery range was increased. All right, so I'm here and I'm going to decide to target cruisers initially. We are shooting HE. I am going to change that at some point because I realized I was wasting some beautiful broadside shots. I played one other match in this thing since it got buffed, and I got to tell you, the armor didn't get buffed. And so you can still get penned through the front. I was trying to figure out a way to say this. I said, by the higher tier 4 ships, tier 4 is a higher tier. What I mean is, if you have a battleship at tier 4 that's opposing you, and it's a really good one, like the Julio Cesare, the Nikolai, in my opinion, maybe one other one I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head, that ship is still going to mess you up because the armor didn't get buffed here. This is an all offense buff. So basically, we've had the good fortune so far that nobody's really shooting at us. And that's what you need in this ship when you're down here. All right, shooting at Omaha again. We're shooting HE, and we didn't aim far enough ahead. So we do set them on fire. That increased fire chance is showing its face. The Omaha is getting all kinds of messed up here. We are not going to get this reload in time. And again, it was just HE. So while I'm sure it would have killed him, this torpedo also just kills him. And we're not going to get a chance to do that. I lied. Somebody shot him. New York shot him. All right. Still shooting HE. Looking at the Phoenix, he goes behind the island. It does not get grounded there. So I'm not going to shoot at the Phoenix. Instead, I'm looking at all these targets here. How about the Celebes? That's a tier 3 cruiser, right? So we get some shots out there. Still not switching to armor piercing because I just finally decided to do that. He's still alive. We're working on that reload. So the reload isn't appreciably quicker, and you're not going to notice that. You may notice the damage, but that being said, we're going to see at the end that I don't know. I think I just got really lucky. All right, here's an Orion giving us the full broadside. We're shooting AP at the waterline. In theory, this should be a highly damaging shot, and it's really not. You can see there we got every variety of shell thing except for the fourth one. We had one pen, one over pen, one ricochet, one that I guess didn't do anything. So yeah. All right, we're going to aim at this Phoenix instead. The Phoenix is a floating citadel. Mutsugi out there, and the Celebes still. We have armor piercing loaded now. Anyway, we do get a couple of citadels on the Phoenix. Dev strike kill number 1. All right, we are aiming at the Celebes. We are working on a reload. And I'm really hoping he keeps doing exactly what he's doing right now. It looks like he's flattening out a little bit. We shoot another salvo there. And there is another hit to Citadel. Killed number 2. We're off to a great start. All right, Orion, that's a tier 3 battleship. I want to kill him at some point. And there's still one cruiser out there that I would also like to kill. All right, first shots at the Orion. I think I'm aiming a little low here, actually, considering his movement. But we'll see. The grouping... I don't know. We're using Azure Lane, New Jersey in this match. I don't know what to say. That grouping left me wanting... It looked good, but it left me wanting more with the results. All right, Gisano. That's a cruiser. I'm going to make him a priority. Although I'm going to shoot at the Orion again. Because the Gisano is behind a durable rock. But the Gisano is a cruiser and I want to kill him. And hopefully someone else doesn't beat me to it. And there are still lots of battleships out there. And, of course, the destroyer. All right, I started to turn against my rear turrets here. That may or may not have been a mistake. I should have gone all in on it. Working on that reload. Front 2 turrets at Gisano. And there is a Citadel hit. Kill number 3. All right. I feel that this is not that shabby right now. All right, Nevada, that's a tier 4. Congo, that's a tier 4. Mutsuki, that's a tier 4. And Mutsuki poses a threat to us. So we are continuing to turn. We're going to put our front turrets out on Congo by turning in a little, at least a little bit initially. We dodged some of these torps. We didn't really do a lot of damage to the Congo either. So, I mean, I'm just going to say this right now. At this point, even though they've given a pretty good chunk of damage increase, the accuracy isn't better. So, unless you're shooting at a ship with a lot of wiggle room armor-wise, like a cruiser, I think you're going to be a little disappointed. Missed out on a kill pinch there with Mutsuki, but that's okay. All right, Nevada. We're going to get our front turrets off at Nevada. Our rear turrets, pardon me. And we never completed that turn against our own turrets yet. Kind of wish I had continued and made that turn prior to right now. All right, would love to shoot at Congo, but he's behind a rock. So we will shoot at a ship that is stationary and not doing a lot. That is an Arkansas. And you can't show broadside in the Arkansas. You know, those 2 hits knocked him down significantly. And somebody's like, shoot at the Arkansas. I'm like, no shit. No shit. Don't kill him. Don't kill him. I need my reload. Don't kill him. I want to kill him. All right, kill number 4. We got the Confederate medal. That's right. We are officially on the hunt for a Kraken, ladies and gentlemen.
Problem solved, sir.
My secondary batteries are starting to shoot at Nevada. I'm sure the crew of the Nevada is absolutely terrified at the thought of the secondaries of the South Carolina. Orion is behind a big rock. We are moving into the cap, and we are on the hunt for a Kraken. It'll be 2 weeks in a row. All right, cap defendant flag unlocked, waiting for the Orion to come out. I'm like, he's broadside. 3 turrets, that'll be a great hit. He'll be killed. Nope. It wasn't a great hit. It was a hit, but it wasn't a great hit. So, yeah. The buff, not sold on how effective it is. despite the outcome of this match. All right, front turrets reloading, aiming at Nevada. Front turrets out. No real damage to speak of. I was aiming at the turrets, and my shells did nothing. He's turning to give us what we like to call the full broadside. So I begin turning to get what I call the full broadside. And he is going to light me up here and take a big chunk of our health. But that's okay, because I am going to take his life. Kraken Unleashed. Kill number 5. I should have jammed on the brakes right now. Orion still out there. Can we get a 6-pack? Aiming at the waterline. Again, I'm going to be very disappointed. High caliber metal unlocked. Our shells didn't do a lot of damage. And we're going to run into a scenario where we're going to start shooting rocks and landscaping. More shots out on the Orion. A little piddly bit of damage that time. A little piddly bit. Those shells managed to squeak over the rocks a piddly bit more damage. And then we're going to zoom in to bino view and start landscaping the island in front of us. Yes, it's true. There's not even a shell splash. That's how bad it is. We're not going to see the shell splash in the bino view against the rocks because they don't even get that far. Someone else is going to kill the Orion. We failed at our chance for a 6-pack. However, that being said, we did end up with a Kraken Unleashed, which I did not get in the pre-buff South Carolina. All right, here we are on the victory screen. Confederate medal, high caliber medal, devastating strike medal, and the Kraken Unleashed. 95,895 total damage. 5 kills, 4 hits to Citadel, 1 cap defended flag, 1 assisted base cap. We ended up with 208,476 silver, 5,900 ship XP, 6,300 commander XP in the South Carolina, with a fully maxed Azure Lane, New Jersey as our commander. Moving to the team result, 4 medals, 5 big kills, 2,161 base XP. I'll call it a good enough game, but the fact of the matter remains, the inaccuracy of the main battery and the weakness of the armor of this ship still make it very situationally dependent. In this match you just watched, we didn't get shot at really, and that allowed us to put out the offense. But that being said, when we were shooting at broadside battleships, the shell performance and the accuracy of this ship is still really lacking. Does the buff help a little bit? Is the buff meaningful? No. Just my opinion. Love to hear yours.